2, 1, 0.
What is going on, Minnesota Vikings fans? Welcome into another episode of House Calls brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I am your host, the Skull Doc. Joining me as always is my partner in crime, Dave. Dave, how you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. Better than last week, so we're
good. All right. Finally got a week with no sickness, so let's keep things going. Keeping it healthy.
Two out of the last 50.
It's bad. Yeah. It's been bad. Rough stretch for you. But hey, man, Vikings football is back. How about that?
It was. Yeah, it was. This is funny. I was like, okay, honey, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get NFL Plus. I'm gonna watch the game, and then I'm like, I'm Ubering, so I get a ride all the way up to freaking Port St. Lucie, which is like an hour and a half away.
Wow.
And so I ended up like, you know what, honey, I guess I'm gonna be watching the game in Stuart, Florida, at a Duffy's. So sitting there by myself alone in the sports bar, watching the freaking games. But I liked it. It was good. Glad to be back. I didn't have a lot of cheering fans around or anything like that, like I'm used to, but it was good.
Were you nervous like me for JJ McCarthy just to like watch him play football again?
I wasn't too nervous. I don't know. I was hopeful, more or less. Like, I hope he has a good series. And, I saw your post. Like, I think you were expecting him to have 2 series, but I think it was made clear that he was going to get like 8 to 10 or like 8 snaps or something like that. So yeah, at least he got that. Now, if he went 3 and out, I think he would have had a second series, or, if he had like 4 snaps or something, he was going to have a second series. So that's how it worked out, as he, it was kind of a longer drive, even though they didn't get too far. But yeah, we'll talk about it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to watch him play a little bit more football. Like, we all are yearning for that, but it was what it was, and it was just nice to watch some Vikings football again. And and some of those second team guys, I think that it was apparent that we have some more depth on this team, which was nice, and that jumped out to me. Bob, what's up, man? Welcome back.
So yeah, I think everybody felt the same way about Sam Howell. Not looking as bad as he's been looking in preseason. And which was probably true to it, but he ran the offense, man, and he made us, I guess, feel a little bit more comfortable if he had to play a game or two.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of my studs. This title of the episode today is Studs and Duds of the first preseason game 1. So let's just start there. Sam Howell was a stud. I was not expecting that. I fully expected him to look bad, because that's the practice reports that we've had from everybody at training camp has said that Sam Howell's been lost out there. And so I guess that goes to show you that that's the Flores defense that's really messing with him. And once you give him a vanilla offense against a vanilla defense, he can go out there and look competent. Now, we got to be careful, because Kyle Sloter went out there and looked competent in the preseason before too, right? So how much of this is real? But by all accounts,
we never got to play in a regular season game, really.
Right. But by all accounts, Sam Howell did have a better practice yesterday when they went out and practiced again, after the preseason game. So maybe he's turning a corner, and maybe it just took him a little bit to get the actual offense down to the point where he knows where to go with the football. And by what he showed us, though, in the preseason game, he looked like he could be the backup to this team, and that's great news.
And there was confident throws. I mean, there wasn't like, he was wide open. No, he threw some dimes in there, so that was pretty nice.
Yeah, had some good pocket awareness to him as well. Moved around pretty nicely. So, I mean, before we get any further into our studs and duds, let's just break down JJ McCarthy, because that's what everybody wants to talk about. So JJ McCarthy's drive. First of all, they start backed up because of a penalty on the return. So he's got a long field to go. And, they start out by running the football. I thought that was something to pay attention to, trying to establish Jordan Mason on that drive. This is a team. And by the way, the Vikings were ranked the #1 team in rushing grade in run blocking grade in the preseason by PFF week 1. This is a team where I think they want to run the football, especially early in the season, as much as possible and get that going while JJ gets comfortable in the offense. So, that was nice to see that we're going to try to establish our offensive line and run the football. But then when McCarthy actually started throwing the football, we had that first boot play out to the left where he threw it to Addison. He threw it behind him. And it was still an okay throw, great catch by Addison. But I want to see that ball led towards the sideline, just being, a little bit picky here. That was a ball location throw that kind of irked me a little bit, where I'm like, okay, it's your first throw back in preseason. You're amped up. Let's see a good ball here. And he was throwing on the move to his left. I don't think it's too much to ask for in your NFL quarterback. That ball cannot be thrown behind Addison going forward. And then just real quickly, he rebounded the next throw, I believe it was, to the left to Addison. And it was really interesting. You can find this on Twitter. In training camp, when we were all retweeting that throw to Addison, where it was that anticipation throw he threw to the left. And
he was thrown against air. And
yeah. So this was the exact same throw with pass rush in his face. And he threw it before Addison was out of his break. And if Addison is not held at the top of the route, that ball is right on the money. And Addison's probably got some yards after catch opportunity there. So that was a fantastic throw.
Yeah. Anybody who criticized that throw is dumb, because he threw it where he had to where he needed to throw it, probably quicker than he needed, than he wanted to, but threw it in the right spot. And yeah, Addison held the row, but Addison going down and making that catch, I mean, that wasn't getting intercepted. That's great about that throw, and that's an NFL throw, man. That was a great throw.
That was a great throw. With a muddy pocket, people around his feet, coming off a knee injury.
Yeah, I think Donovan Jackson got tripped in that play, right? And
yeah, that was the one where Donovan Jackson got bull rushed a little bit. I think he stepped on Ryan Kelly's foot and went down.
I think he got tripped by Kelly's foot or whatever as he was backing up, and he got hooked and he fell down. And that's how that's, I don't know, shame on Donovan Jackson for that, but yeah, that was, when he was under pressure and he made a throw like that. That was great.
And then, he did miss a throw over the middle to Lucky Jackson. He had Lucky there. It was high. It sailed on him. JJ was asked about that throw. He said that he wanted to hold that ball just a tick longer, and it would have been there. Much easier throw than the one he was trying to make. So
it did seem like he was rushing it a little bit, like a little too early. But yeah, he overthrew it. But yeah, that was one of those big time, chunk yardage plays that would have made us, get even farther downfield. And then obviously the next play, you can talk about that too.
It's funny that you said that, because I was listening to another podcast and they had the same view, where you said that it seemed like his clock was sped up a little bit, and they wondered out loud if facing the Brian Flores defense and the pressure that he sees in practice all the time has really sped him up. And now he kind of has to fine tune that a little bit and calibrate himself and just take a little bit longer to deliver the football than he was in the preseason game. So that's something to keep an eye on. And I do hope that his timing gets a little bit better and that the defense and they will back off. Like once they start game planning for the Bears, that defense, the scout defense, is going to be the non-Flores defense. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So they will get that fine tuned for week 1. But that was just something interesting that I think we need to watch for. Maybe in the joint. I'm really excited for the joint practices starting tomorrow with the Patriots, because that's a good defense that he's going to be playing. And I want to see how he goes up against that defense. But I don't know, any other thoughts from you, Dave, about JJ McCarthy? Last thing I forgot to mention was the rush he had on the 4th down to get the first down. That was pretty. He ran that play perfectly. There was the defensive end came down inside, so he had the right side open. He took it for an easy first down. Love what I saw there. I think he can do that.
And I think everybody was covered. It's not like he was, running,
it wasn't a Christian Ponder
running scared or anything.
Right.
I do think Sam Darnold can make that play. But He just makes it look probably even easier. So that was pretty. It was pretty impressive. He showed his, he gained yardage on the guy that was rushing after him. But yeah, it was he had the clock in his head, and it was like he saw the opening. It's kind of like I wish Brett Favre did that in the NFC Championship game because he had room.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, he took the yardage when he got it, and it was fourth down, and it was after he missed the throw. A lot of pressure on him, made it look easy.
I
Now
agree.
you brought it up earlier, the running game. I was going to tweet out when I saw this. I was like, oh, I had a tear in my I formation. We had the I formation in there, and I'm like, we're going to run the ball this year. Look at that. It was awesome to see us just come out of the blocks running, and we did look good running all day.
We did. Donovan Jackson looking great in the running game. Will Fries does need to pick it up a little bit. I think he's still getting into football shape, to be honest with you. So he did have a play where he was looking for work and he just smashed the defensive end, and that was fun to watch. And what else in terms of the running game? Oh, stud number 2 for me, Xavier Scott. That guy is good, man. We have a real running back 3 competition going on.
So when I saw Ty Chandler run, I was like, he's doing pretty good today. And then I saw Xavier come in, and the first thing I saw was him pick up a block up the middle. And then he did another one a little later in the game. So that right there just piqued my interest. But he moved the pile. He was decisive, kind of explosive. I looked to see his age and was like, 29? What? Where's this guy been? That's what I'm thinking. Where's this guy been? Because he looks like a real NFL running back, and he doesn't look slow. He looks like he can. I didn't see him catch passes or anything, but the blocking and just the decisiveness and moving the pocket and getting the touchdown. I just there's nothing. He was one of the guys I posted out there was like really standing out to me during the game.
I agree, man. Apparently he played for the University of Maine, I believe, as a wide receiver. Yeah. So, he has hands and he looks natural as a running back. I really liked what I saw out of him.
A tight end in high school, so
yeah. So that's a name worth watching. George agrees with us. He says that Scott looks good. He's definitely a guy that's going to be worth watching the next couple of preseason games. We talked about a couple studs. I like Sam Howell. I like Xavier Scott. Let's throw out a dud there. Do you have a dud? Someone you didn't think had a very good game, or maybe somebody you thought you wanted to see a little bit more out of?
Probably Dallas Turner. Probably wanted him to stand out a little more because there's a guy that really overshadowed him that plays the same position. If you know what I'm saying. So I always wanted to see Dallas Turner flash a little bit. I don't think unless you could tell me something different, I just didn't see him really flash at all.
Oh, I think it's incredibly fair. I will say that Dallas Turner only had, I think, 8 snaps, but it was that whole defensive first drive that they looked flat. And
true. And
the physicality wasn't really there on the defensive line, and Dallas Turner was a part of that. So I agree with you.
We had a 3rd and long, and I believe it was our safety, Theo Jackson, that missed the tackle. He got ran over, and he was trying to hold on. I wanted to say it was 26.
I think it was Jay Ward. I think it was 24.
Was it Jay Ward?
Yeah, I think it was 24.
Sure it was 26, or is Jay Ward 29?
24.
24. Yeah. So if it's Jay, and that's why I didn't post because I wasn't sure who it was. But
are you talking about the screenplay to the right side to Jalen Knoll? Yeah, I think that was Jay Ward who missed that. Was it
Jay Ward? Because I did see them show Theo Jackson after the play, but he was standing up and like, hold it, was that the same dude that just got blown over? So if that was Jay Ward, I sorry, Theo Jackson.
Yeah,
I'm happy it wasn't Theo Jackson. Let's put it that way.
Jay Ward's been having a good camp, but he was kind of a dud for me. I didn't see too much out of him, and thought he missed a couple tackles. Wasn't too high on his game. Herm says rookie defensive line Elijah Williams 99 was solid. You're right, man. There's who's the guy on Twitter who does the video breakdowns of players to show that they did a good job. He just did a breakdown on Elijah Williams, and he was playing 3 technique, and he had a couple real nice pass rush wins as an undrafted free agent. He was very good that game. Good call out, Herm. See who else was a dud in terms of this game.
Brett Rippon.
Oh, absolutely. He didn't even get a chance. He throw 2 passes?
He just didn't look like he wanted to be there. I think I just felt like he looked scared in there. Like he was getting ready, waiting to get hit. So I guess would you say that Max Brosmer was a stud?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he got in there. I
would say that.
Ran the show, threw a touchdown that was called back, immediately threw another one on his 4th read, mind you. Oh yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, he's impressed. He's impressed a lot of people, and I think that there was people like calling for him to be our backup right away, which I don't blame him. But Sam Howell again stood out to me, and so did Brosmer. So it makes me feel a lot more comfortable with this quarterback room. I hope it's not going to be one of those things like, oh, we want to keep that veteran guy in there that's been around doing nothing for years, getting a paycheck like a Rippon. I just don't want us to keep him just to keep him because he's an older player. I don't want it.
I don't see how they can let go of Brosmer at this point. I think he needs to stay on the 53.
Playing his way into the 53.
Yeah.
And then he throws the best pass of the first practice coming back.
Yeah, 40-yard dime.
It's beautiful.
Beat Elijah. Who's our corner? Who's cornerback 2 now? Who's that?
Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah, he beat Isaiah Rodgers down the field. That was really pretty. Bob says Asma is gone. He was actually waived today. Dave and I were talking about this off camera before the show. Timing is really interesting on that. They did not have to do that right now, which makes me wonder why they did that so early before cutdowns. He did start the little spat in the practice before the preseason game, but there's been a lot of time since that. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and that was just like he popped him after he turned his head. And he went down to pick him up off the ground. I don't think there was anything dirty there. But I told you off screen, I was like, I thought he was having a good game, filling holes and tackling. I think he got a tackle like either at the line or before the line of scrimmage, and they blitzed him.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like a sure tackler out there. I thought I even posted that he had his best game that I seen him play. And then what do I know? He gets cut.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe Kobe King had such a good camp and such a good game that they just decided, you know what? This is our linebacker 4 behind Cashman, Pace, Eric Wilson. And we know that Osmo's not going to make it. Let's do the nice thing and just let him go now before the rush of cuts, and maybe somebody picks him up now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe he's got a better opportunity to make a squad. Maybe it's a classy thing to do by the Vikings.
But, and I said that also the same thing before, that we started. But I'm like, still a long ways yet. And what if someone gets hurt? It's like, I don't know. I just, like you said, it's just the timing doesn't seem right.
Yeah, something is off there. I'd be curious to know what that was about. We got Norpheus joining the channel. What's up, man? Dave, do you have a history with Norpheus? He says, okay, Dave, I'll come back.
Yeah, apparently. If you don't want to be here, man, don't be here. No worries. But this is Skull show.
Daniel, what's up, man? Good to have you, buddy. Daniel, we were talking about our studs and duds before you joined. So drop your studs and duds from preseason game 1 in the comments while we continue on. So let's talk another stud here. We've talked about Sam Howell, who we liked, Xavier Scott, we really liked. How about Joe Huber? Do you see that guy's PFF score for that game? 94. He had a dominant run blocking grade, dominant pass blocking grade. This might be a guy that we keep on the interior as a backup. It's going to be hard to cut a guy like that.
That's good news. Well, let's talk about the stud of the day. Probably was Gabriel Murphy, right?
Agree. Yeah.
He was just
Unblockable.
all over the field, man. He stood out more than anybody. He looks like, for me, I was like, what are they talking about? Like all last year, oh, man, watch out for Gabriel Murphy. And then I heard some grumblings about him in preseason. I'm like, oh, what are they talking about? And then they see him in the preseason game, and he's all that in a bag of chips. I mean, he looked great, and that's what I was talking about. If he outshined, and again, Dallas Turner didn't have a lot of snaps, but he just like every snap, it seemed like Gabriel Murphy was doing something, and just looked at some of his one-on-one matchups. He just blew by guys or muscled them. He's strong. He just had a motor. I think, and you know what, Bo Richter kind of made up for that, giving up that touchdown, because he was the backside on that easy touchdown that they had.
Yeah.
He got sucked in, and they threw it out his way, and it made him look like a fool. But on one of Murphy's sacks, I think they might have gave a half to Richter, or even though Murphy, I think it was all Murphy, but Richter was right there too. He was going to get him, but so he kind of made up for himself. But Gabe Murphy, man, he stood out. Anybody on that defense, I think Gabe Murphy stood out.
Absolutely, he did. I do want to slow the Jets a little bit on some of the stuff I've been reading on Twitter. NFL Outdated, who's the Bears account that we follow. He's a good dude, and he does, he likes to troll a little bit. He retweeted something that was saying, is Dallas Turner going to get replaced by an undrafted free agent, referring to Gabe Murphy? And just want to remind everybody that Dallas Turner, despite being one of our duds in this game for not really making much noise and with only 8 snaps in the game, he's been popping all training camp, and he's been one of the best players on the field throughout training camp. So everyone kind of relax on the Dallas Turner, preseason week 1 game. He's still going to be a big part of this defense, and I still do expect Dallas Turner to have a big second season. With that said, though, Gabe Murphy as your edge number 4, you'll take that all day long.
Oh, right? Gosh.
And Bo Richter as edge 5, you'll take that as well. So I don't think we're going to miss Pat Jones at all in that rotation role. I think these guys are going to be better. All 3 of them.
I think these guys are better fits, better athletic. I'm going to answer Northeast's question. Yeah, Skoldock here has a show on Minnesota Sports Talk, but no, he doesn't have his own channel. But you can follow him at Skoldock on Twitter. A lot of good information.
Yeah, we are here every Tuesday night, 8:45 p.m. My wife was hinting that we should strongly move it back to 9 p.m. because my daughter Ellie's going to bed later and later. And that means that I don't get to help her put her down for bed. And you know how that goes. So we might be moving it back 15 minutes, but we'll see.
That'll be 10 for me, man.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, my partner's in Florida. Daniel says he likes what he saw from Felton, Scott, and Huber. So we talked about Scott and Huber. Felton. So refresh my memory here. Did he catch any passes? I know he returned some kicks, right?
So I think he caught a pass early on. Let me see if he did any more. Where is it? 2 for 14. But he had a special teams tackle that he just beat the guy. I don't know what the guy was doing. He was the gunner on the play, and he just straight lined, caught the ball, he tackled him. The guy didn't even touch him down the field. I don't know if it was just a misplay on the other guy's part, because he just kind of turned around, and our guy just went down there. But it was a sure tackle, looked good, fast. I liked his first catch of the game. I don't know if I saw the second then, But yeah, sure, looks sure-handed, and yeah, I don't think he didn't disappoint. He looked good.
Yeah, Dylan has a really fair point here. So we did clarify. I don't know if you were here, Dylan, when we talked about Dallas Turner being our quote unquote dud. He says, I think calling him a dud after only 8 snaps is a little uncalled for, maybe a little harsh. He cut one of
It
the runs
was.
inside, which was a good assignment. He missed maybe 1 or 2 tackles. It was a fine showing to me. We agree. We just wanted to see him flash. That's it. That's all we're saying. So
I forget how you asked the question. Um, like I guess I maybe called him a dud, but yeah, it's not a whole lot of snaps. But I wanted to see him flash, and I did I guess equate. I did put the fact that I think a guy stood out more than him, and we ended up talking about Gabriel Murphy. It was
yeah,
kind of my lead into Gabriel Murphy, and we didn't. I guess we didn't talk about him as fast as I wanted to. But yeah, Dallas Turner, I have really high hopes. I still again preseason, or camp, he's been flashing all the time, so I'm not
yeah.
too worried.
I just wanted him to make a backup tackle look silly, and I didn't get to see that, and therefore I was a little upset.
And he
That's
just
it.
said he missed 2 tackles and 8 snaps. Uh-oh. I didn't know that.
He missed two
So
tackles.
that's what he said. He missed, or maybe, and missed one, maybe 2 tackles. 2 tackles and 8 snaps.
No.
I don't know. But hey, I'm not too worried. I wasn't too worried. And yeah, maybe it's a little harsh calling him a dud. I was a dud in the fact that I wanted more, but it didn't happen. And again, Skoldock qualified it as, the whole defense wasn't look good that first drive.
Yeah.
Pretty disappointing that first drive. And I was like, oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. But the rest of the game, man, they did their business, man. They solidified the whole rest of the game.
And I think that was their starting offensive line who performed during that first drive, but still that's one of the worst offensive lines in football. So I just expected our backups to show up and give us a better showing than that, given how they've been, looking in training camp thus far.
Yeah, it didn't seem like we were close to the ball at all, man. It did just they look
I
wide
agree.
open.
Back to Ty
I,
Felton real quick. I did
yeah.
see that he had the highest grade for PFF of all special teams players in week 1. So that's big because
Well, when you have
special
an
teams,
untouched tackle like that, that's pretty good.
well, apparently he's really, really good at punt gunning. Like he did it a lot in college and he looked good at it in the preseason. And if there's something that does correlate well from preseason play to regular season play, it's special teams play. So I think he's gonna be really relied on this year for special teams play. Maybe our primary kick returner, definitely a punt gunner. And who knows with punt return? That does scare me. I don't know that our punt returner is on the roster right now.
Oh gosh.
I don't know if the
Scary.
Vikings even care about it. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring Brandon Powell back and just have him wave fair catch every time like they did last year, and he'll be wide receiver 4.
We did that one year with God, what was his name? He was our 5th corner, worst corner on the team.
Marcus Sherrills,
Cheryl's, yeah.
he
We
was
brought
a
him back.
great punt returner though.
Yeah, we brought him back after he'd been off the team for a couple of years, right? And then all he did was sit back there and catch the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with rostering a dude with the only job being punt returner if he's a damn good punt returner.
Yeah.
He can't be average and get a job. Like he has to be damn good if that's all
Yeah.
you're going to do.
And Powell's pretty good on third downs and stuff. And, he's a sure-handed guy, got open. Just like a safety valve type of receiver. And he made some big catches for us. So, and the fact that we lost a receiver it would make sense to bring in a guy like that, especially if we need a punt returner.
I think we missed one obvious stud, and that's Jordan Addison. He came out and he looked like
it was
he
like
was.
we took him for granted.
Yeah. He
He
came
was
out. He was just wide receiver 1. I'm going to get open on every single play. I'm going to catch everything that comes my way. A ball was thrown behind me by JJ McCarthy on the first throw. No big deal. I'm going to bail out my quarterback and catch the ball. I'm going to get
Lucky
held at the top
Jackson.
of my route, and then I'm going to come out of that and make a diving catch. Like he makes it look easy.
I want to say Lucky Jackson and what do we got? Jalen Naylor had a good catch, but Lucky Jackson had three for 30 yards, 10 yards a catch. He looked good. All the receivers looked like they were sure-handed, which was great. I didn't feel like there was any drops out there, if I'm not mistaken.
Speaking of wide receiver, I'm in the camp of this team needs to bring in an extra guy because we haven't talked about it yet. It's so unfortunate, but we did lose more on his first touch on a punt return. He went down with a left knee injury that was verified to be season-ending via MRI today. If I had to guess, it's probably multi-ligament damage, ACL, MCL, and it's just the worst. The guy, he's just terrible luck. I feel terrible for him. He's probably done at this point. I agree with Dan. So, but the Vikings now need a wide receiver, in my opinion. Do you go out there and do you get a guy like Brandon Powell who already knows the system? He can play punt return position. Or do you try to go out there and get an Amari Cooper and hope that he can learn the system by week 1?
I mean, Amari Cooper didn't do much last year, right? When he got signed by, or he got, was it traded to Buffalo?
Yeah, he was traded to Buffalo at the deadline, and then he got there, and they really didn't use him much.
Yeah, so it'd be like we don't need. I feel like filling the punt return and having a back end receiver with Powell would make kind of more sense. I really like our receivers. I just really like them. So I don't know.
So you're fine. You don't think we need to add anybody? You're okay rolling with Ty Felton and Lucky Jackson?
I would feel good about bringing Powell back. Yeah, it's because I'm looking, thinking, we got Jordan, because Jordan Ass and Lucky Jackson and JJ McCarthy and and Naylor, and then it's like, is Silas Bolden gonna step up and be anything?
He's been
I
really bad so far.
Yeah,
He's a small dude.
I know he did. Did he have a punt return? Didn't he have a punt return
I
at the
don't
end of the
know.
game?
I
I
don't
think he did.
remember.
I didn't have the sound, so I wasn't sure which player caught that one of those last punts. So
I'd be
yeah,
totally fine with Adam Thielen for like a late round pick if the Panthers were okay dealing him. I just don't know that the Panthers want to get rid of Adam Thielen. He's
yeah. I don't
been,
think they're preseason giving up
yeah. I
on the
mean,
year.
now they wouldn't be giving up. The question is like, would they feel good enough about their young talent that they want that talent on the field? Like, does Adam have a spot? Slash, they could save some money by dealing him, but they want to win games, to your point. And if Adam Thielen is one of their best 3 wide receivers and they want him on the field, they're going to keep him. So joint practices start tomorrow, I believe, against the Patriots. If I'm not mistaken, that's tomorrow and Thursday. I could have that backwards. It could be Thursday, Friday. I don't remember. Um, what are you looking forward to most out of the joint practices?
I would look more towards the offensive performance. I would want to see JJ McCarthy not get sacked. You know,
Every
um,
play.
yeah, every play, having that line hold up, giving them enough time. Um, smart decisions, no bad picks. Um, I get tip balls and stuff, but I just want to see JJ McCarthy have time to throw the ball and make good decisions, and I would feel like a win there. Now, I guess during like practice, we didn't see the tight end get the ball much in the in that preseason game. I don't think at all. I'm looking for a tight end with a catch, but I hear in practice that it's him and TJ Hawkinson got a good rapport going, catching balls over the middle and stuff. Yeah, I'd like to see him throw the ball, throw the ball around to various receivers, not just one. But yeah, again, mainly I want him to have as clean a pocket as possible, giving him time to throw and having him make good decisions. One of the things that I really liked in this last game is that we threw a lot of screens, and we got to keep that in our offense. I feel like we get away from it, and then the old tight end, that tight end screen we would do, it seemed like we got rid of it. We're doing a lot more running back screen here, which was kind of cool and was very effective. I hope that's part of our offense. It looked really effective, and it'd be a great thing for a young quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's easy. I want to see JJ McCarthy go up against a defense that's not a Brian Flores defense and see how that looks. That's my main focus. And I also want to see, I would say, secondly, I want to see our run defense against our first team run defense against another team and see how that looks, because our run offense has looked very good in training camp thus far. And I want to make sure that our run defense is up to the task this year and doesn't take a step back, because we play a lot of really talented running quarterbacks and running backs this year. So that'll be interesting to see as well.
No, I felt like we blitzed. We brought five guys a lot in that or more in that game. So I feel like, and I feel like they were disciplined. But yeah, like you said, if they're facing a running quarterback, can they keep that up? Um, but yeah, definitely. We've had years where we've given up a lot of rushing that's killed us, especially that Eagles game that one year, and that's really important. And one of the good things is like one of our best players, Grenard's, were equally good at rushing the passer and stopping the run. You got Ivan Pace Jr. I haven't this defensive line. I'm not so I don't know yet. I can't wait to it, and we probably won't get to see him until the season starts. But this is where we would get to see him is in this joint practice. So yeah, not get giving up big holes in the defensive line, not letting them get chunk plays on the ground. Yeah, that would be important. I'm really just I don't feel like I'm worried about the defense, and if something does happen, we'll fix it. But God, offensive line protecting JJ is like my number one thing.
I agree with you completely. I fully expect our defense in these joint practices to make Drake May and the Patriots offense look pretty rough. I expect that to be a storyline. I'm hoping the same is not true for the Vikings offense against the Patriots defense, but that defense is good. They have some solid guys on the defensive interior. They paid Milton Williams all the money, and then they got Christian Barmore, who's very good on the interior as well. And they got studs in the defensive secondary: Christian Gonzalez, Carlton Davis, and there's a safety that's escaping my brain, but is very good as well. So it'll be interesting. It's a good challenge against a Mike Vrabel led team. Very tough coach. Hard. He's like the Mike Zimmer-esque type of coach. So it's going to be a very physical practice. And to your point, I hope that our offensive line shows up and plays some big boy football and protects JJ and gives him time to make some good decisions back there and look competent.
Will Reichert had two made field goals, 2 for 2, 1 for 48. Another guy, Khalif Halasi,
Yeah,
2 picks at the
2
end of the
picks.
game. I didn't get to see that. I left it in like the late in the third quarter, and I had listened on the radio.
Yeah, from what I heard, they were right to him. I also didn't get to watch
Yeah.
that part. I had some family
I
stuff to go
saw I
to.
saw a replay, and yeah, one of them was an overthrow, and he was just playing center field back there.
So, I mean, that is all the topics that I've had for today's show. Anyone in the comments, do you guys have any questions? We'll do a Q&A. Just drop some questions for us. AJ says the interior D-line for the Patriots will seek out our weakness on the line. So that's a great point. I mean, Donovan Jackson has to improve in his pass protection. It's been rough this camp so far for Donovan Jackson handling a bull rush. So he's going to have his work cut out for him the next 2 days. It'll be a good opportunity for him to sack up and have some better practices here. Ryan Kelly's been a good pass protector. Will Fries, I would say, has been up and down. I think he's still getting into football shape. But the interior has to have a good practice against the Patriots. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of pressure on JJ McCarthy for the next couple of days. I agree, AJ.
I hear Darisaw has been making a lot more, showing up a lot more in like 11. I don't know, is it 11 on 11 that he's showing up in? Or I just heard a report.
Yeah, his snaps are going up in 11 on 11s.
Okay.
So it'll be really interesting to see how much work he gets over the next couple of days. But I think it's gearing up for Darisaw to be pretty active during the joint practices.
That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, Justin Jefferson still out. So I honestly don't think we're going to see him for the rest of the open training camp. And I do expect to hear him back next week at practice as they start gearing up towards week 1.
I saw he was he was participating in the walkthrough. So I don't know.
Daniel says his main concern is the physicality of the offensive line to start the season. And I agree with Daniel's concern because when you look at the names, Darisaw, Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, Brian O'Neill, like that's a hell of a starting 5. But how healthy and how football shape ready to go are all 5 of these guys going to be for week 1? That concerns me too, Daniel. It really does. Will Fries, I need him to get, like I said, get his ass in shape. Ryan Kelly's fighting little nicks and cuts here and there because he's an old guy. Donovan Jackson's got to pick it up because he's a rookie, and Darisaw needs to get healthy and get in football shape and be ready to go. So
I equal your
agree.
sentiment. I hate put piece and a line together right before the season starts.
Right.
I want to see them just all lined up, moving bodies, and we haven't got that luxury yet.
AJ, I've never been high on Michael Juergens, but apparently he had a decent day in the preseason game. He pass blocked well. He was moving bodies in the run game. So that was good to see because I haven't really been a believer in him. Walter Rouse, in my opinion, we have something in that guy. I think he's your backup swing tackle, and I think he's got starting potential. What do you think about Walter Rouse, Dave?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you much.
From what I hear, he's been really good in practice.
It's just good to hear. I thought you were a while back kind of down on him. Was that him that you were, or is it Juergens?
Juergens. Yeah, I've always been down on Juergens. Norpheus wants to know where I went to school. I did my undergrad at Augustana College in the Quad Cities, and then I went to medical school at Rosalind Franklin University of Science and Medicine. Studied podiatry, and I'm a foot and ankle doctor. I went and did my training at Rush downtown Chicago, and now I work in the Chicago suburbs. Live in the burbs with my wife.
Living the dream.
3.5-year-old daughter. As you can see, house divided. Wife's the Bears fan. I'm the Vikings fan.
Living the dream.
Dave, you go to South Dakota State?
I did for 2 years, and then I transferred to the U of South Dakota, where I graduated with a master's degree in secondary education, became a teacher. And I recently got my MBA at Southeastern Oklahoma State online. So, me and Dennis Rodman.
How long did you teach?
2 years. I tell people I'm a retired athletic director.
Got it.
Yeah, I was the coach. I didn't mow, but I did line the field. But yeah, they had a little basketball team, little flag football team. It was a Christian school and a Christian league. But yeah,
AJ says
I taught the computer. They had a computer lab for the first time, and someone told them I knew how to do computers. So because I took a class in college, so I bought a computer and just taught myself what to do with it, and I went down there, and as I was learning, I was teaching the kids what I was learning.
Nice.
So, yeah.
AJ says the week 1 I'll be sleeping on the couch. Nah, I mean it's fine. I watch downstairs. She watches upstairs. We don't watch together.
I'm
obnoxious to watch a Vikings game with if you're not a Vikings fan.
My my son is homeschooled. He has autism, and they weren't meeting his needs at school, so we brought him home, and he has been amazing.
Good.
And I think he's going to be a master Lego builder.
Yeah.
Because his the money he gets, you can buy Legos with it. So we get this guy a full stream of Legos coming in every week, and he's building them left and right, man. He's amazing. He hands it to me. He screwed up. He hands it to me. I said, I don't know, man. I give it back to him, and he figures it out, gets it rebuilt, and he's just amazing. He's had one of those Rain Man moments where I'm building this big castle that had bit and my mother-in-law bought my wife, and it was used, so I had to read. It was a Disney castle. My wife's a big Disney fan, so she was going to put it up as a display. So it's 7,000 like 600 pieces or whatever. It's crazy, and I had to put all the pieces and shapes and colors together, and because they weren't coming in bag one, bag two, because it was used. And there's
Mhm.
about 2,000 pieces left, and there's this outward facing piece I cannot find. And I went through all the pieces twice, thinking it'll be stuck on the back or whatever. My son looks over my shoulder. He's like 5 years old. Looks over my shoulder, goes over, picks up a piece and hands it to me. I didn't tell him what piece I was looking at. I didn't tell him nothing. He figured it out just by kind of where I was at, apparently. 5 years old. The thing's for 14 plus. And when he's 5 years old, never built a Lego set in his life. Picks it up and gives it to me. It's crazy. Rain Man moment.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Does he use instructions or is he kind
Oh,
of free
yeah.
build?
He had instructions. He just,
Gotcha.
is turning the page, and every once in a while he hands me can't because he's screwed up before, and he asked us to fix it. But this last time, I have no idea what you did, man. He fixed it on his own. It was great. He's just I tell him he's gonna be one of those Lego master builders. They actually, there's a rating you can be, and you have to do certain things. But yeah, that's his future.
Yeah,
Be a master Lego builder.
there's that show on Fox. Have you seen that? Lego Master Builders.
I've seen clips and stuff.
Yeah, like my wife and I watched the first 2 seasons and super fun show. It was a lot of fun. I don't love I think his name is Nick Arnett, the host of the
Oh yeah,
show.
he's kind of a prick.
He's the Lego Batman voice. He's just
Oh yeah, I know.
so
Yeah, he's kind of a prick.
over the top. It's like, okay, it's like just unwatchable at times because of the commentary, but it's a fun show.
Been
Yeah,
in a
guys,
timeout.
we are gonna call the show here in a couple minutes unless you guys send us a couple questions our way because we've kind of run out of things to talk about. I mean, we're gonna have a lot to rehash next week regarding the joint practices, but right now, I mean, we've kind of broken down as much of that game as we could. We would have liked to see McCarthy a little bit more to have some more to chew on there, but I get it. He came out healthy. I think he called that a win. He didn't. Kevin O'Connell did not want to play the rest of the starters any more snaps. He would have liked to see more McCarthy, but you can't put out McCarthy behind a backup line. So I totally get that. Norpheus, we talked about running back 3 with Ty Chandler versus Xavier Scott, and we are both team Scott. It
Yeah,
just sounds like the rhetoric coming from Kevin O'Connell is that they are not fans of Chandler because of his missed blocks that he's demonstrated. And Kevin O'Connell needs to trust you in the blocking game. And Dave pointed out earlier that Scott did pick up a nice blitz during that game. So we like Scott. We want to. That's basically the biggest reason I will be watching preseason games 2 and 3 going forward, even though we won't be seeing any starters, is because I just want to see Xavier Scott run the football.
yeah, yeah. It was the first thing I noticed was his blocking, and then his decision making, just decisive runs, and carrying people with him. He was what I would feel good about a game, him being in a game. And I've always said like Ty Chandler needed like 20 carries to get going, and you'd get 100 yards maybe eventually, but your quarterback would get killed 2 or 3 times a game. It's not a good thing. So I'd feel better if if like we had to go, like, let's say Aaron Jones tweaked an ankle in the first quarter, going the rest of the game with him and Xavier. I feel good. I feel good because yeah, he can. I feel like he can block. I don't know about his receiving skills at all, but his blocking and running ability, I think, are great. And he led us in rushing as far as yards per carry and everything. So
This is the second time that Bob asked this, Mary Ann or Ginger, guys, and I don't get the reference. Dave, do you get the reference?
it's from Gilligan's Island. Gilligan's Island.
Oh, yeah, I did not watch that.
Marianne. Marianne. It was still going. It was still going on when I was a kid, but I guess I was probably watching reruns though.
Um,
I did see the made for TV movies because the show ended with them still on the island. It got canceled, so they
oh,
ended up having to show movies of them getting rescued.
good. I was gonna say you can't leave it like that.
Yeah, people were like, "What the hell? They're still on that fucking island."
Nick says Jordan Mason is RB1, and I like that conversation piece. I'm a big Jordan Mason guy. I think that when it comes to the Vikings run game, I do expect a little bit more of a 50-50 split with Aaron Jones getting third down opportunities and Jordan Mason getting red zone opportunities. And I think fantasy wise, that will kind of even out and they'll be very, very close to finishing together. But I will say that Aaron Jones has a higher injury risk than Jordan Mason. So personally, I would lean Jordan Mason with drafting, and you can get him pretty late in fantasy drafts. I think he's a steal.
I might get them for $1.
There you go. Yeah, you guys do your bidding. George, I was not studying instead of watching Gilligan's. I'm 34, so Gilligan was on
Yeah,
TV.
dude, he's young, man. I'm 52, so that show was in the 60s and 70s, man. It
When I
started out black
wasn't
and white.
when I wasn't studying, I was watching Breaking Bad or The Office. Those are my shows.
Yeah.
I'd buy that for $1. I think that's a reference from The Waterboy.
Yeah, but
Dan, let me know if I'm right.
it was in a TV show way back in the day. I forget. I know the reference, but I just can't place it.
Oh, here's a good question from Norpheus. So he mentions, oh, it's RoboCop. Norpheus mentions Zamaya Vaughn, and I think I was listening to Alec Lewis maybe doing his 53 projection. It basically came down to a roster spot between Zamaya Vaughn versus Nudie McLaughlin,
Mm,
which you like Nudie, I think, but
I do.
apparently Zamaya Vaughn has had a little bit more consistent camp than Nudie, so
I'm not married
that'll
to Nudie.
that'll be interesting.
I'm not married to him, but yeah, that's again champagne problems if we have really good cornerbacks. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm kind of with Ty Felton glad he didn't disappoint this last game, so that's kind of a good thing. Just Gabe Murphy just standing out the way it does makes me feel so warm inside. Um, I didn't get a chance to. Normally, after a game, I'd go back and watch the offensive line, like every snap, just watch how they played. And I didn't get a chance to do that. I went to do it, but it wasn't there for me to go back and look. But yeah, I'm just seeing a Gabe Murphy do that, and then our running game. That was great. All receivers, no drops. I don't think there was any drops that I saw while I was still watching the game. I am worried about punt returning, and I was pretty happy that I think the yips are gone on our kicker. Hopefully that stands true. I remember last year I said, I don't know who I said it to. It feels so good not to worry about our kicker, and then he goes and misses a kick right
Yeah.
after I said that. So I'm just like knocking on press particle board here.
Yeah, George is asking what happened regarding Alexander Madison. So, Alexander Madison playing for the Dolphins now, incredible guy, heart of gold. Always loved him as a guy representing the Vikings. Fluent in Spanish and always helping out in the community. So he was playing against the Chicago Bears on Sunday, and he got a goal line carry, and he went down, hurt his neck, and they took him immediately to a hospital in Chicago, and he ended up getting surgery on his neck. And they didn't tell us what the actual injury was. My guess is he had a broken vertebrae in his neck, and they had to go in and fix it. So he's done for the year. Neck injuries are extremely scary. I do believe that he has all movement of his extremities and everything, and he's fine in that regard, but still, he may not be cleared to return to play football. So that's something to watch out for. And it sucks. It's really sad that it happened to Alexander Madison. Just a great dude.
And for those of you who've been around my channel a long time, know that I interviewed his father like 3 times, and he was a really good friend to SK, who's on Twitter, and some of you guys will see him if you go to Skullfest. SK he's out in he's out in California, and they're actually really good friends of the family. So, and his dad was on 3 times, and really great family. Just traveled with the team, was gracious enough to come on my show a few times. So, great family, and that's why you know one of the things I posted was get well, because he did mean it. I know he people kind of got down on him his last year as a Viking, but no one could question his heart or him wanting to be a Viking. So, as sad to see a guy get hurt like that.
For sure. So prayers up for
Once a
Alexander
Viking,
Madison.
always a Viking.
For sure. For some guys, Darren Sharper, go fuck yourself.
Who?
Darren Sharper.
Darren Sharper, yeah. It was funny. One day I'm out driving as usual, and this is a few years ago. I'm like taking a on ramp or something. There's like this guy just walking on the side of the road, probably homeless, wearing a Darren Sharper Vikings jersey. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, gonna stop. Do you know? I mean, like have you been watching the news? I don't know, but yeah, Darren Sharper could have been a Hall of Famer.
Dan asked about Favre. For me personally, I don't really care about all that like stuff that Favre was getting into. I don't know whether you call it political or not. I don't know. I don't want to touch the Favre situation. It's not the same as like the Darren Sharper situation.
Oh, definitely not.
So Favre's still cool in my book.
I'd put more shade on the politician. He seemed to know what he was doing.
Well,
oh gosh, I was thinking, isn't it Favre's kid playing somewhere or something like that?
I didn't hear about that. I don't know. I just want to look up real quick the line for week 1 for the Vikings. Last I looked, the Vikings were now favorites against the Bears. They are still 2-point favorites against the Bears. Over under 43.5. Gonna be a lower scoring game.
So I don't know if you know our history of drafting, but DJ Dozier was a first-round draft pick from Penn State. Dude, oh God,
Ooh.
I had because we were like always missing that running back, right? And we got that guy. And I'm like, all right, let's go. DJ Dozier. No, he bust. Oh, total bust.
So Daniel brought up a good talking point. Thank you, Daniel. That's something we should talk about. Jordan Love had thumb surgery today to fix a ligament on his left hand, non-throwing hand. What's up, Skull? What's up, Barber? Good to see you, buddy. So anyways, Love had surgery today. Says he should be back next week. So they're going to throw a hard cast on his left hand, and he'll come back next week. And I think that cast is probably going to be on for a solid 6 weeks. So that puts us out. Let's see. Surgery is tomorrow, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That puts us out to September 24.
I was talking to a guy, and his friend was a Packers fan, and his friend doesn't like their chances this year at all. Like, he's really down on them.
September 24th is week 4. So I think there's a chance for the first 3 weeks that Jordan Love is playing with some form of a soft cast, maybe even a hard cast on his left hand for reconstruction of that ligament.
It wouldn't be a hard cast because you got to catch snaps, right?
Well, they can make a hard cast and cut out the thumb pretty well, so you can still have like full range of motion from your from your fingers. But if they're fixing a ligament in his thumb, you're going to have to protect that ligament for
Yeah.
6 weeks typically.
God, that's risky. That would surprise me.
So I mean, that's not ideal. It's a non-throwing hand, but that's not ideal. Having surgery this late in the game. Kind of wonder how he injured that. If this is just an ongoing thing and it just was bothering him. But
we're winning the division, guys. We're winning the division.
I mean, Packers start out, they play the Lions week 1. Let's take a look at this. Lions in Lambeau at week 1. I was going to pick the Packers in that game. They are 1.5-point favorites, but the vibes on the Packers just kind of suck over the last couple of weeks.
Lions aren't,
Then they play Thursday. Packers have Thursday night football
in that game because
the Commanders.
But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of enthusiasm around the Lions.
I mean, the Packers have the Browns week 3. They'll win that game. But starting out home against the Lions, home against the Commanders, at least they're at home, but those are 2 tough-ass games. And if Jordan Love comes out, slow, they're probably going to lose those games.
What about, you don't think, who's going to start for Cleveland?
Flacco probably.
Someone was showing camp stats, and he didn't have any touchdowns, and 2 or 3 other quarterbacks had 5. So I was like, it seems like Shedeur Sanders is having a good camp, and then he had a good preseason game.
I didn't watch any of the Packers preseason game, but apparently they just got smoked by the Jets, and it's preseason football. Who cares? But I don't think anything looked good for the Packers in that preseason game.
Yeah, when I heard from that guy that his buddy was just really down on, he was a lifelong Packer fan, and he was down on him, he didn't expect nothing from him this year. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. Usually Packer fans are pretty excited about their chances.
I think they're pretty bummed about their cornerback room, and I think they expect to get toasted by some wide receivers this year. They don't love that situation. That's part of it. And then I think there's I shouldn't say large. There's a section of the Packer fandom that don't buy into Jordan Love yet. They need him to prove it to them that they can, that he can be a good quarterback for more than just
in love with Love yet.
Right. He's got to prove it to them over a larger stretch of the season and not be Mr. Hot, Mr. Cold. And this is a fan base that has watched 30 years of excellent quarterback play. And so Jordan Love is a lot to live up to. And he hasn't done it thus far, despite what Peter Bukowski says on Twitter with EPA and all that kind of shit. So he's got to prove it, and he's got to stay healthy too.
I never seen a guy throw off his back foot as much as this kid.
I agree. All the time he's throwing off his back foot, and he's got an arm where he can put it anywhere, even off his back foot, but he throws a lot of arm punts against pressure. Barber says that he wants to play Love when he's at 100%, so there's no excuses when JJ puts a belt to that ass and we hand them.
I'll play him with a cast. I have no shame. I'll play the other team's starting quarterback with a cast on. No shame. Don't care. We've had to play with some bad quarterback play, so.
Yeah, man, the vibes, just looking around the NFC North, Bears camp has been up and down with the new system, and Ben Johnson has been, I don't know what the word is, tyrant, but it's not that aggressive. He hasn't been a tyrant, but he's been assertive and dominant and loud. You know what I mean? My way or the highway kind of thing.
And Bear Bryant.
Demanding perfection.
Junction Boys.
It really reminds me of Josh McDaniels. I keep saying that name. It's very much Josh McDaniels-esque. And I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I'm just saying that he's been loud and demonstrative towards the players and demanding accountability. And, that shit can work. It can work, but
John Gruden, he was like
yeah,
that, but
yeah. Like I'm just saying, like those are the vibes out of Chicago, up and down. The Lions camp, it's just like they lost another player in Rackstraw, the corner. He's out for the year with a shoulder thing. So it's like they just keep getting bit by the injury bug. The Packers, Jordan Love has surgery this close to the season. And then the Vikings, it's the reports of JJ McCarthy looking up and looking down, right? Like looking like a rookie quarterback out there. So it's like you look at the vibes all around the NFC North, and each team has like this negative thing that they're fighting against. But if you had to say which team has the least amount of baggage right now, it's probably the Lions, followed by the Vikings, and then a tie between the Bears and the Packers in terms of like NFC North stock around training camp right now. Yeah, the Daniel Caleb holds the ball. I was listening to Collar's podcast today. He was talking about how he was having a conversation with someone who's on the beat for Kansas City and watches Mahomes, watched every throw Mahomes has ever made, both in college and in the pros. And when Caleb was getting all that comparison talk to Mahomes, like, yes, Caleb has a fantastic arm, can throw off platform, can throw the ball 100 miles an hour anywhere all over the field. He can make every throw. But Mahomes has always played within structure. Always. He plays most of the NFL game in structure. But Mahomes can also play out of structure. We've seen that. Those are the wild plays. Caleb has really showed us at USC and in the NFL that he can play out of structure and make something out of nothing, right? He can make chicken salad out of chicken shit. But Caleb has to play better in structure, and that's why they hired Ben Johnson, and we're going to see if he can do that. It's going to be a really tough task week 1 against Brian Flores' defense, though.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. Honestly, I like the matchup.
Yeah. It's nice to catch them week 1 in Chicago because I don't think weather is going to be much of a factor, and you also get them brand new system week 1. It's going to be tough for the Bears. JJ doesn't have his full weapon core. I totally agree with you. Doesn't have the best wide receiver in football. That does make a difference in practice for sure. Just reading some of these comments here. Caleb was my quarterback 4 only because Penix is injury prone and Nix is a screen door.
Screen door. What's it? I don't. You know the reference?
What do you mean by screen door, Norpheus? I don't know. I can't stand Bo Nix, says Nick. So Bo Nix, I was standing on a table saying this guy is a bust. His arm sucks. He's the next Christian Ponder. And I was flat out wrong. He was pretty good this first year. I got to admit it. He was pretty good. And he's like 29 years old. He's been playing football a long time. He was totally prepared to come in and play right away. But
one of the things when people would talk about quarterbacks and they would, defend JJ McCarthy, he played within the system. That's what he was asked to do. That's exactly what you could say about Bo Nix. That's exactly what you could say about all the quarterbacks. They played within their system.
It's a good thing.
And they were all freaking pretty successful at it.
Yep.
So yeah, I didn't get the hate as much as most people about Bo Nix, but I still think that I still had him as a 2nd round pick. I'm still not sold on him as an elite quarterback. But he could be pretty solid. I think he could be pretty solid. And honestly, he I don't know if you've ever seen him in interviews. The guy is like doesn't take any shit from reporters. I think what take us through that interception. He goes through with the other team. Next.
Do you remember?
That was a great answer.
Do you remember my draft? Because when you first had me on the show, when Dave met me, he had me on the show as a guest during draft season, I believe.
Yeah, and you traded up and got a quarterback.
Drake
May. It was Drake May.
Yeah. So I was really high on Drake May, but you probably don't remember this about me. That year when Penix went and played against JJ McCarthy in the championship, I was pro Penix. I was a Washington fan bandwagon that year, and I loved Michael Penix. I loved his piss missile of an arm. I loved Rome Odunze, and that was a really fun offense to watch. Conversely, I did not like JJ McCarthy at that time. I thought that he was an average looking college quarterback who was carried by the run game and a defense, and he didn't wow me. And then Michigan shit on Washington, and Penix lost the championship game, and I was sad. And then we go into, listening to draft talk and all that kind of stuff. And then Thor, of course, right, opened my eyes into the JJ McCarthy tape, and I saw what he was looking at. And so then I started to look at JJ McCarthy from a tools aspect rather than like a production aspect, like everybody else wants to look at him from college. And I saw the picture, right? And then I understood it. And I was, by the time the draft came around, I was right there, Penix or McCarthy. I'm perfectly fine with either one. But I did believe that JJ McCarthy had the higher ceiling, being so much younger and less injuries on his body. So I was probably just a little bit more McCarthy over Penix. And so I was kind of,
I think we feel the same way because I was like, I really wanted McCarthy because I knew we weren't gonna be able to trade up to get May. I didn't want to give up the whole fucking future to get May, and honestly, I wasn't sold on May. I did kind of warm up to him late, but then like I thought we could get McCarthy where we're at, and that really sold me on was how young he was. And then I did have Thor on my show, and we talked about the draft and 10 different quarterbacks for an hour. And I had to started naming all quarterbacks. He went and told me all about them. And I know how excited he was about JJ McCarthy, but I already had two guys in my group, Rap and SK, that were really big McCarthy fans. They were Michigan fans. So I got to spend a little more time looking for him. But I was like, guys, and it was on Twitter, someone tell me a game to go look at JJ McCarthy, and no one could tell me anything. So I picked two games, watched them, and he threw 3 picks in that game, and that game against Ball State or something like that, I forget. And then I watched another game. He didn't have many throws in that game, and so I was just still searching for like, can you tell me? And I think about around the combine and find out that my biggest fear was his arm strength, and that was gone after the combine for me. But yeah, I really warmed up to him. But funny note, I don't know if I ever told you this. The defensive coordinator for Washington that year, co-defensive coordinator, was my high school quarterback, Chuck Morrell.
huh.
And now he's the linebacker coach for Alabama because Washington's head coach went to Alabama. And now and I tried to get through his mom and one of my friends, who is our, all-state receiver on our team. He says, I don't know, he's very talkative anymore. He was on my college intramural basketball team. And he's like 2 years younger than me. He was a sophomore when I was a senior in high school. Yeah, he big timed me. He didn't even return my messages. I was like, fuck you. I wanted to hear him. I just wanted to get his view on Penix.
Yeah,
Penix.
Nick says that Drake May was his QB1. I really like Drake May. It was no secret. I don't know if you guys
Jaden Daniels all the way, man.
Yeah, and he turned out to be great too. But there's no secret that I don't know if all of you guys remember this. There was a video that somebody recorded Kevin O'Connell in a church setting getting asked a question by someone of the congregation of the church about Drake May and, trying to get up to trade with Bob Kraft or something and to go get Drake May. It was a really interesting and well thought out question, the way that he asked him in church. And Kevin O'Connell actually said something along the lines of, yeah, I'm going to send a nice bouquet of flowers to Mr. Kraft or something like that. Like, they didn't hide the fact that they wanted Drake May and they were going to try to trade up to number 3 to get him. And there were reports that the Vikings really sent a really nice package to get up there to number 3 to go get Drake May. And the Patriots said, no, we're going to stay here and we're going to get our guy. So let's leave the show with that for tonight, just knowing that the apple of O'Connell's eye was Drake May, and just kind of like see how he does over the course of the next 2 practices. And that's okay, guys. Like, it's okay to admit that in a perfect world, the team wanted Drake May and ended up with JJ McCarthy, and they are very happy with JJ McCarthy. They traded up a spot to go land JJ McCarthy. Like, they love JJ McCarthy, but I just thought it was interesting that the kid who I think they really wanted, he's coming to town tomorrow, and let's see what he looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. And he played well last year.
He did, with a bunch of shit around him. He had no business looking good at all with his offensive supporting cast.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the kid. He's a big-bodied quarterback. I think a lot of people compared him to Justin Herbert, and Kevin O'Connell really likes Justin Herbert. We know that about him. So
I wasn't looking at the chat. And we had the Grandizer doing the fight song over here.
Oh, yeah. And we got Norpheus putting it on the table, saying JJ will be better than Drake. I hope so, man. I hope so
too.
I love JJ. There's no regrets. I like Drake in the process. The thing is, you can only control what you can control in the NFL, right? And we got JJ McCarthy. We're going to support him, and I hope he's good enough to win a Super Bowl.
I was impressed by his composure. I'm not gonna in preseason game. I was impressed by the way he handled himself, especially with that guy at his feet and he throwing that out route, timing wise, and it's just like throw it before the break. These are NFL throws, man. I think people the question is still out there is if he has touch on the deep ball yet, because he tends to throw line drives. And I did see that in his college tape a little bit, but they were still pretty amazing throws that he had in some college throws. But yeah, it wasn't like he threw it, with touch, and I hadn't seen a whole lot of that yet. So, and that was my problem against Teddy Bridgewater is he didn't have a really good deep ball.
Daniel says, "I'm just glad that we avoided Richardson from the Colts." So Anthony Richardson.
Yes,
I woke up that draft day with a feeling in my gut that the Vikings were going to trade up for Anthony Richardson, and I couldn't explain it, but I just had this conviction like the Vikings are going up to get Anthony Richardson today. And then it came out that they really tried to do that. They really wanted to do that, but they couldn't put together a package that, he went so early. He went super high in that draft.
5 or something.
Yeah, he went like 5. And I think the Vikings thought he was going to go a little bit later than that.
We did a draft show with like 6, 8 guys, I forget. And I was telling everybody, Jesus Christ, guys, the 24 draft, man, is going to be loaded. The 24 draft is going to be loaded. Don't worry about this. I didn't want to give up. I said, if we get Richardson, great. I think we'll be able to bring him along, but I don't think he should start in the next 2 years. And sure enough, he's been struggling like a motherfucker. I'm just pretty happy that we didn't pull the trigger and we were able to wait, get JJ McCarthy. I was glad we waited. It worked out the way I wanted at quarterback. Not exactly what I expected to get in Sam Darnold last year, but still worked out. We had a bridge quarterback, and in 2025, the year that we could fill this roster up with studs, we got our young quarterback starting for the first time. So this is exactly what I wanted for 2025, and it's happening. I'm pretty excited about it.
I do want to answer Grandizer's question before we close out here, just because I appreciate the questions. Apologies that you're late. No problem. We were just happy that you made it, man. We do start Tuesday nights at 8:45 p.m. Central Time going forward. So if you can make it around that time, that'd be great to have you the entire show. Did you have your 3 veteran Viking players that are on the bubble or should be on the bubble? Well, interestingly enough, they already cut Asamoah. So I think he obviously qualified as one of your vets who was on the bubble, and he already got cut. We thought that was really interesting timing. They didn't have to do it this soon, but they did. That's a good question, though. It's the issue with this team is it's like it really feels like it's written in pen already. There's not a lot of dudes who are going to be surprise cuts, in my opinion. the tough cuts are going to come from the depth positions like defensive tackle 4 and 5. Like, does Levi Drake, LDR, does he make it? Or is it the Elijah Williams guy that we saw who was really good? Taki Taimani, he's going to be out, in my opinion, if you want to consider him a vet.
I mean, is Blackman?
No, they won't let
Going
go of
out?
him. No, I don't think so. I think that there's no
Maybe
way
some of these other
Blackman
guys are
gets
playing.
cut over an undrafted free agent like Nudie. Blackman is a 3rd-round pick. I don't think you can cut him.
I guess you could call Brett Rippon a veteran.
Yeah, good name. Yeah, I think that Brosmer is going to beat him out. Good name. Any receivers?
Lineman that surprises? No.
No.
Is there a D lineman? No.
It's just not a. It's not a sexy training camp in terms of surprise cuts. In my
It's
opinion.
nice.
Yeah,
You know, it's nice that we have we feel like we got guys that are solidified at their job. Not been not used to it.
Well, I think that's it. We'll see everybody next week. Everyone enjoy your training camp videos tomorrow and the next day. Make sure that you're following Dustin on Twitter. He's the one that's pumping out all these Twitter videos. I'm going to drop his handle here.
Thayer Thomas. He's going to get cut.
At Dust_Vikings, DUST_Vikings. He's pumping out training camp videos every day at practice, and there's gonna be a lot of really fun videos to look forward to tomorrow.
Is this real? Rippon can play. All right.
Madden.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks for showing up, guys. Make sure you hit like on the way out, okay? I appreciate it. Skull Vikes.
Skull Vikes.